Welcome into an at-home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report because the Browns have signed defensive tackle Maurice Hurst in NFL free agency just a couple hours after the really exciting signing of Juan Thornhill. But let's break down this Hurst signing for the Browns. First one out at Brad Steinbrook, so shout out to him. But this is an interesting move for Cleveland. I don't know if you know Maurice Hurst's background, but he went to Michigan, so any Buckeyes fans might remember the name. And with that, he had a heart condition coming out of college, so some thought he could go round 1 even. He ended up going all the way in round 5 to the Raiders, had a good rookie season. The biggest issue with Hurst has been his lack of availability. In fact, I'm looking at his stats right now, and I'll throw it on screen for you in just a moment. Since 2020, he has played in how many games is that? 13. That's a bummer. Right? Since 2020, he missed all of last season after tearing his triceps early in preseason and during training camp. So no stats from 2022. In 2021, he only played in 2 games. So over the last 2 seasons, 2 total games. But there is some good to him that goes back further. Like I said, his rookie year in 2018 with the Raiders. I mean, for being a rotational guy, starting 10 games, 4 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. So I think the Browns are trying to find that 2018 version of him, hopefully capture him with a full season of health. He's only played a full season once, doing so in 2019 with the Raiders. Again, he's only played in 4 seasons in the NFL, if you exclude last year when he didn't play at all because of the torn triceps. But I think this is not a move that's supposed to be made to be a potential starting defensive tackle. I think he is coming in here to bring some competition. He might be a cut candidate, but I think at the end of the day, this is a move of, hey, we know we've got Perrion Winfrey and Dalvin Tomlinson. Can we find a good 2 or 3 other guys between Togiai, Elliott, Hurst, and a rookie, right? Take that 4 and get the best 2 out of them, and boom, that's your 4 defensive tackles for 2023. So let me know. Just ignore, not just the Maurice Hurst signing, but how would you grade the Browns free agency thus far? If you had to give it a letter grade, A through F, I don't know if I can give it an absolute A+, but man, I do love the Dalvin Tomlinson signing. I love the Juan Thornhill signing. And I wonder if the Browns got Javon Hargrave, which cost $7 million on average more a season than Tomlinson, would they have gotten Juan Thornhill? Because if the answer is no, maybe it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. I'll talk about the wide receiver position in a second. I'm going to give him a B+. I'm going to give him a B+. I'm not going to be a full sheep and just say, oh, the Browns are absolutely killing it. It's A+, which they are killing it, by the way, I think. But they are definitely making some good moves. I don't think it's an absolute A+, though. I'm going to go with a B+. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. Some more on Maurice Hurst before we kind of just talk general free agency buzz here. I don't have much PFF info to bring it up. If I find any, I'll flash it on screen next. But like I said, he's played in only 13 games since 2020. Last 2 years, he was with the 49ers, missed all of last season. Career stats, 8 sacks in 42 games. He's not necessarily a big-time pass rusher. He's probably going to help a lot in the run-stuffing department, but he does offer you some upside in that department. So kind of lukewarm on the signing, right? I'm not going to really pop champagne over a defensive tackle number 3, maybe number 4 being signed right here. But hey, if they can find a way to tap into that first-round potential back in 2018 and they can get him a full, clean bill of health after his torn triceps last year in August, I think this could have some nice upside to it. He could be a very strong rotational piece on this defensive line. So I'm going to be optimistic about it, but I'm definitely not going to sit here and pretend like this is an absolute home run, slam dunk signing, and the Browns have now completed their Super Bowl roster, which I got a little carried away during the Juan Thornhill signing, but yeah, Super Bowl brownies, I don't know. 22 starters feels like it is all said and done. Hey, if you believe the Browns can go on a big run in the postseason, make sure to subscribe down below. That way, when we get to February next year and we're in Vegas for the Super Bowl, you're right there with us. You don't miss a thing because you subbed way back in March over a Maurice Hurst signing that most people thought would be, inconsequential, but instead he ended up putting 3 sacks in the AFC Championship game over Cincinnati. That would be sweet. Now, I just want to talk general free agency for the next couple of minutes or so, because now that the Browns have signed another defensive tackle, this is their 6th signing so far. I think we're going to probably come to a closing point. Maybe there's a wide receiver coming. But to me, I don't think so. And here's why. We just saw 3 wide receivers get identical contracts, essentially. Alan Lazard, Jacoby Myers, and I'm blanking on the last one, but it'll come to me in a second here. All got $11 million average salary. So with that being said, are the Browns interested in giving out Mecole Hardman an $11 million average salary? I don't think so. So if they're not, who is the third one? It's escaping me. Myers? I'll think of it later. But if they're not interested in giving Mecole Hardman a $11 million average salary, well, I see 2 paths for them. 3, actually 3. One, you can go much cheaper with Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton, which I'm not thrilled about, honestly. I think if those guys get signed, it'll be cool because it's news in March. That's awesome. But also at the same time, I don't actually envision them being big-time impact players in September and October when it actually matters. So you don't win Super Bowls in March. But I think I could see one of the other 2 routes unfolding. Route number 1 is they take the 42nd pick in the draft and they pick a wide receiver, right? And they hope, and Andrew Berry hopes that wide receiver can be an impact player his rookie season, right? Not like David Bell, which I'm not trying to slander the guy, but let's be real. He really didn't contribute much to the Browns' offense this year. So that's route number 1, is hope that 42nd overall pick is a great wide receiver who can deliver for you. There's a bit of a risk there. If Andrew Berry has his eye on 1, 2, maybe 3 receivers that he expects to be there at 42, and they're not there, oh boy, because if that was the plan all along, you're kind of screwed unless you want to make a draft day trade. But at that point, you've already picked with your 2nd round pick, so you don't have great ammunition to land a receiver. Okay, so that's option 1 in my opinion. Option 2 would be trade the 42nd pick for a Brandon Cooks, for a DeAndre Hopkins, right? For a Jerry Jeudy potentially. Use that pick right there to try and get a proven wide receiver. And I'm starting to think that's more the route Cleveland is going to go, because I just don't see the Browns wanting to sit on their hands this year and hope that a rookie wide receiver can come in the clutch. Andrew Berry in this offense and Kevin Stefanski, the whole operation needs to win a playoff game. They need to make the playoffs, and they have to win a playoff game. That might sound a bit egregious right now, but I really do believe that for all the money Jimmy and Dee Haslam have green-lighted for Andrew Berry to spend, it has to result in more than just a 7-10 season next year, right? He can't just go 8-9 or 9-8. I mean, the Browns can't. So if he knows that, and he knows it's got to be splash time, maybe he doesn't want to wait around for a rookie to come through, right? And see, because rookies are lottery tickets. You have no idea what the draft is going to get you. So if that is the case, then I wouldn't be shocked if he decides, let's move this 2nd pick here and get a proven receiver, and boom, what were the Browns' biggest needs this offseason? Defensive line, defensive tackle specifically, but they got Obo Okoronkwo, so they kind of checked that box as well. But Dalvin Tomlinson, Hurst, and some other rookie right there, boom, I think you can feel more confident about the defensive line for 2023 than 2022. You need a safety. You got Juan Thornhill. You're set in that department. You need a wide receiver. That's the last, piece of the puzzle here. If you flip that 42nd overall pick for a Brandon Cooks or DeAndre Hopkins, now you have completed everything you set out to do in free agency in the offseason. You go into the draft. Yeah, you don't pick rounds 1 or round 2. And you hope that the 3rd and 4th and 5th round picks can be valuable rotational pieces, or if an injury happens, they can step up nicely. But you're not counting on your rookie class to be the guys that save your job in Cleveland. I'm sure Andrew Berry would feel a lot more comfortable about banking on a veteran like Cooks or Hopkins to push them over the edge. So I think a trade is actually brewing. I think it's going to be coming soon. If not, I think that tells me Andrew Berry has identified a couple receivers he believes really are surefire hits, or he doesn't feel like he has to make a splash move. And he has more confidence in himself in this roster without a Brandon Cooks or Hopkins to find a lot of success, and that his ass isn't really on the line riding solely on this season, and there's a little bit more security behind it, and it's not just, put up or get out for 2023. That's going to do it for us on our home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Appreciate everyone for tuning in late night right now, nearly midnight on the East Coast. So we'll see everyone bright and early tomorrow morning. We've got day 4 of NFL free agency, so plenty to talk about.